Hello, parents. First of all, let me thank you a lot for choosing Code Chocolate for your kids' coding learning journey. And I am sure and confident that your child is going to learn a lot and enjoy at the same time. Just before we start, before your first class, there were a few things that I wanted to speak to you about. So, first of all, I wanted to be very clear. I wanted to clarify what we do and what our plan is with the children. Uh, this is not a traditional class in which children will listen and the instructor will talk. This class involves more of interaction. This class involves more of self-driven activity. Kids drive what they want to learn. It is not like we push things down their throat. The 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 traditional result, the results of the traditional idea of teaching have not been too great. I mean, of course, our schools are temples of learning, and one of the best schools and the education systems exist in the country of India. But uh, when you allow kids to actually be involved in an interactive manner, in a constructive interactive manner, the opportunities for learning and the depth of learning could be greater. That is what Professor Papert, Seymour Papert from MIT, who is one of the giants of the world of education, believed in, and we believe in Professor Papert. We believe wholeheartedly in the theory of constructionism. You may want to read a little bit about constructionism in your free time. In simple terms, the idea is that people build knowledge by making things. Human beings are creators, they make things with their hands. I mean, primitively, right now it's all made in factories, and all there's a very set closed pattern of doing manufacturing things, but we are primarily creators. If you observe, all children will try to make something with their hands. Their natural instinct is to try to assemble ragtag objects which are wasteful for us, but they will try to make things on their own. That's why the toy called Lego is so successful among children, because it brings out the inherent curiosity in them. They keep joining blocks together. They want to make something happen. So, coming back to the point is that this class taps into that inherent creativity, taps into that inherent need and desire to make something, to create something. And that is why this class is more about being driven by the student, by the learner. You can think of it in a way that the instructor is a helper. The instructor is a helper who helps the child learn what he or she wants to learn. So we are aware of the kind of balance that we have to strike between an open world exploration and a completely restricted, rigid A to A leads to B leads to C leads to D kind of a structure. So we are aware, and we have solved that problem. We have tried to solve that problem in a different, by using different types of techniques of giving a little freedom, doing a little hand holding, having a little competition, having a little collaboration. So that is why till now our classes have shown excellent results. Children get excited, enthused. They wait for the day when the class is about to begin. I hope that is going to happen with your child as well. In order to make best use of that, and in order to make that result happen, that your child actually excitedly waits for the class, which we are pretty sure it will happen, there are a few things that we need your help for. So the first help is, if you can convey to the child, to your child, to be active and engaged. If they don't understand anything, it is they should keep asking. They should ask the instructor, what does this do, what does that do. In case they want to do something completely of their own, something that they want to do, they can always ask for permission and go in a different track. If the whole class is going in a particular track, but on a particular day they want to do something else, or in whatever we are doing, whatever the instructor is planning for the day, if your child wants to do take a slight deviation, we always allow for that. We always actually encourage that. We want the day when your child is actually doing things completely on their own. There is a saying that the real use of the teacher is to make himself or herself useless. That is the motto we go by. We want to make ourselves completely useless. We want to make the children so capable That they should not come back to the teacher and ask, sir, how to do this and how to do that, or I want to do this, is this okay? It should be coming from them. They should be posing the question and answering it themselves. So that is the kind of philosophy we believe in. We believe it is very effective. We believe it is fun also. The class does not appear as a class, as a burden that they have to put on their heads. So that is primarily the thing that we're trying to do. So how does it translate into your actions and what you need to tell the child? One of the actions is no pressure. Okay, if there is pressure from you to the child to show something, to build something, and to ask him how much he learnt, that pressure will always curb the natural instinct in the child to do something interesting. It is something of interest. Let the interest develop. Sooner or later they will develop those logical skills, the mastery that is required to do any kind of programming, and definitely it will help in their long-term career goals as well, because coding, as you know, is the future. But it is not because it is the future that we teach coding. We teach coding because it ignites young minds. It makes them logical thinkers. It makes them more creative. Of course, becoming a software engineer, becoming good at coding, that's our level 10 benefit. Okay, so you can imagine how much depth we have built into the program, how much we want the children to achieve, and they will. If they continue with us, creating an app or a game and publishing it to the store for the world to see by the age of 11 or 12, or after a year or 1.5 years of doing the class, that is something that is going to be a very common result for us, for all children, not just for one single child that you see in a cutout for a very big coding class that they put out. For us, the goal will be that every child who spends a considerable amount of time with us, does practice at home, is going to be able to come out with an app of their own after some time. And publishing an app is a pretty big thing. It is not a small thing. Next, to make best use of time, we have 3 children and 1 hour in which we can interact. It is important that late coming should be reduced, and we encourage children to open their software, whatever is the software they are learning, either it is Scratch, Roblox or Unity. These are the 3 courses we currently conduct. They should come in at least 5 minutes before the class with the software, the Scratch open, and immediately as soon as they open they start the class, as soon as they join the meeting, the first thing that they should do is to share their screen and give control to the instructor. We can maximize the time that is available by making sure the instructor does not have to keep asking and sharing asking them to share the screen and ask for control. So please convey to the children that they must always ensure that their screen is shared and they have given the control to the instructor. Secondly, they should also not go on mute, because this class is more interactive. It's more like a conversation, like more like 2 or 3 people talking, more like 2 or 3 friendly people talking. So when they mute themselves off, that conversation completely breaks. So they should not mute themselves, and also along with that, they should respond to the instructor when the instructor says, did you understand? If they don't understand, they are at complete liberty to say, I didn't understand, you please explain it to me again 10 times. Okay, they can do that, but being quiet and remaining moving on and pushing it under the carpet will only affect the learning journey of the child. So please encourage the children to be relaxed. First of all, that the instructor is not going to scold them for anything, the instructor is not going to put pressure on them for anything. They should relax and try to enjoy the friendly vibe that we try to build in the class, and that they should stop the instructor. They should definitely respond to any kind of questions that the instructor would pose to them. So that is another very important thing. So one of the other things that they should generally learn is to have a basic respect for the conversation that is happening. Like if the instructor is trying to explain something, they should not interrupt, or if some other child is trying to say something, they should not interrupt. So there is this feature in Zoom that they should really learn. So the next topic that I'm coming to is Zoom. They should be very well conversant, and if you could spend some time in helping them learn all the basic features of Zoom, primarily among them is receiving files that the instructor is going to send, saving them in a particular location. So please teach them how to save a particular file that appears in the chat. Secondly, if they want to ask something and there is some conversation already going on, there is a raise hand feature in Zoom. So please ask them to familiarize themselves with the raise hand feature. They can click on the raise hand will be raised, the instructor will wait for the right time to address the query of the child, and come back to him or her. That is another thing. So Zoom controls sharing the screen, unsharing the screen. That is another thing. One more thing that is a very common scenario is they will want to record something of their own. In that case, they will not get a quiet environment because they will not be able to the other people in the class will be talking. In that case, they should know how to leave audio. There is a feature called leave audio, in which case you won't even hear what is happening in the meeting. You are completely cut off from the audio. The moment they are done with the recording, they can join audio and come back again. So please make sure they learn how to share files of their own, how to receive files and download, and see where they are downloaded, how to receive files and see. There are 3 dots when the file appears in the chat window. They can click on them and actually see where the file appeared in the laptop or in the computer. Second is they should be able to leave audio. So when you are in the meeting, there is an audio mic button. On top of that, if you click on that, you'll see a leave audio also. So you should be able to leave audio. They should be able to raise hands. So 3 things. First is to be able to send and receive files and locate where the files are downloaded. Second is to be able to leave audio. Third is to be able to raise hands whenever they have a doubt and some conversation is going on. And the fourth is to be able to view somebody else's screen by stopping one's own share. So Zoom controls, please make sure that they can become experts in the use of Zoom, because that is our primary medium of the class. So they should become absolutely conversant and experts in the use of Zoom. They should be able to choose if there are 3 screens shared, right? The 3 children. If they want to see what the other child is doing, they should be able to go to the view options, and after unsharing, they should be able to go to the view option and select which screen is going to be shared. Lastly, a small point, I am going to share a OneDrive link with all the game assets they are going to be using during the class. Please create a folder on desktop with the name of your child, named, like if your child's name is XYZ, or say for hypothetically Rahul, so you put the name Rahul _ coding class. That's going to be the name of the folder on desktop. Or you can just, the best idea is to just put a folder with the name Code Chocolate Resources. Okay, inside that resources, I shall give you a OneDrive link immediately as soon as the class begins, and before the first session of the class. That OneDrive link, just go to the OneDrive link and download it. The whole OneDrive link is about 300 MB large, and it should be downloaded as a zip file. Now download the zip file into that folder, unzip it into the zip file, into that Code Chocolate folder, and just show the kids that this file exists, this folder exists at this place. This will all help in making the class very smooth and make for the best utilization of the 1 hour time that we have. In case children are not turning up for the class, please inform us in advance. That is something that goes without saying, but just saying because it helps us. In case a child does not join, we wait at least for 5 minutes before we can start the class. We don't want the mismatch to be too big, so we wait for the first 5 minutes. In case your child has decided not to join the class at all, it will help us save those 5 minutes. Alright, and so please ensure, we'll watch this video a couple of times, and please, if you could ensure that the child follows, your son or daughter follows all these things, our time utilization will be greatly increased, and we will accelerate along this journey of learning. So I again welcome you to the Code Chocolate family. This is a community more than a coding class. We are trying to build a community of kids who are going to interact with each other, who are going to help each other, who are going to compete with each other, etc. Thanks for watching, and thanks for helping us. Thank you.